Hello everyone, welcome to my channel and also welcome to my first video. So for my first video I figured I'd do something simple and short that I think is pretty cool when it comes to ballys. One of the things I like to do with a lot of my ballys is take what is called like oil paint, I guess. It's these Sharpies off of Amazon, really neat. But what I like to do is basically, color in the engravings on my ballys. Adds a little bit more character to them. So first things first, in the description I will link a link to these. These are off of Amazon. They're just Sharpie oil paint markers. Okay, so I will also show you guys how to activate the oil in these because it is kind of confusing when you first get one how to make it actually draw. So first things first, when you first get the plastic wrap off of the Sharpie, you want to take the cap off, and as you can see the tip is still just like a plastic tip. There's no oil on it or anything. So what you want to do is you want to get a piece of paper and you want to take the tip of the Sharpie and compress it down. So you want to just down as hard as you can and do it like 3 times. Just really push it down to compress it. Put the cap back on and shake it. Once that's done, you want to come back to the paper and try to write it down. Try to just scratch around. If it doesn't work, give it a few more presses, and there it goes. Okay, so that's basically how you get the pen started. So once that's done, now you can just basically use it as a regular Sharpie. So back to the matter at hand, how do you actually go about engraving your balisongs with these? So here I got a JK Designs embargo. I'm going to be engraving the JK logo on the front of the blade and also the serial number on the back. Okay, so now that we got everything set up, the pen's ready to go. What I recommend having for this part of the process is either some steel wool. You can find it at your local hardware store. Nothing really special, just typical steel wool. Or like most of us, you can have a microfiber cloth like this. So anyway, so what you want to do is that you want to try to be as accurate as possible, of course. If you can prevent any of the oil going out of the engraving onto the flats, then that's perfect. You really don't want it going into your pivot system or anything like that. That would not be good. So just try to be as most accurate as you can in this particular area when it comes to initially drawing it down. So what you want to do is you want to come to like a corner of the letter and get the Sharpie seated in there and kind of run it back and forth until you see the ink come out. And then you just simply draw the letter down like that. Okay, and now once you do that, you don't need to do anything to it yet. You want to come to the other letter and do that one as well. Now I can already tell you I messed up quite a bit, but I can show you how to fix it. The K got a little bit of overspill. Usually what I do use is steel wool. I think it's honestly the best for this. I know a lot of people are probably asking, well, doesn't that like hurt the finish of the blade and stuff? I don't know. I mean, if I go very soft with it, I haven't noticed a single thing that it does. But I will say before you go to apply the steel wool, you want to make sure it is very, very, very dry. Because what happens is that when this stuff gets very dry, it actually makes it easier to remove. So it kind of like just chips off. Versus when it's wet, it'll smear. And you really don't want that smearing to dry up and then be all over your blade. That's just not what you want. So if you get some overspill, you'll take your steel wool, and you, like I said, you don't want to be aggressive with it because steel wool will shave off and it will make a mess in your pivot system. So if you honestly want to take apart your balisong before you do this, that would probably be a great idea. But I'm not like that. So like I said, you just want to softly go back and forth, maybe left, right, up, down. Just kind of do one of these. Make sure no debris is in there. And then take a quick gander at it. And it looks very clean. So I want to do the other side, but I'm going to do it a lot quicker now. Just so you guys can get an idea of how the process should go. Now I will say the serial numbers are a little bit harder when it comes to this particular balisong or JK's engravings. The serial numbers are a little small, so you have to be kind of like careful with those. But like I said, yeah, the biggest thing is just making sure it is dry before you go to steel wool it or rub it with anything. It will smear, and when it smears, it dries a lot faster. It's not like it's sitting in a pool where it's seated, you know, it's just there on a flat. So you really don't want it to smear. So you want to make sure, if you're scared, just leave it be, let it dry. But it doesn't take that long. You guys are seeing it in real time. I'm not going to cut this second part up because I want people to get an idea of like how it should go. So yeah, like I said, up and down. Kind of look at it when you're doing this, just to make sure you're not smearing oil anywhere. And be careful of your pivots. Make sure no steel wool shavings are going into the pivot area. And if they are, just try to get them out. One little hair isn't really going to hurt, or it shouldn't, but okay, now that's that side done. And that is how you add a little bit of character to your balisong with just a little Amazon Sharpie and some steel wool. And you can do the same, like, you know, this part with the microfiber. You can do the same thing. It'll do the same thing. You might have to rub a bit harder with the microfiber because it doesn't have as much like coarseness as steel wool does. But yeah, that's basically how you do that. Hopefully that helped somebody out there who was looking to do some cool stuff to their balisong and all that stuff. So hopefully that helped y'all, and thank you for watching, and have a good one.